Most people will start, and a month from now, they'll be like,
discipline is going to trump motivation.
yep.
I've really taken that message to heart because it's so easy to show up when you're feeling motivated.
You can have this generalized goal and just let time roll through.
You'll fall behind.
You walk the walk, people notice.
That the discipline needs to take over in order to stay on the right track to achieve what you want to achieve. My name is Andrew Will. I am a personal injury lawyer in Baltimore, Maryland, and it is a pleasure to be here talking with you, Mike.
How did we meet?
So it's a long story. I was actually working at a large corporate defense firm, and I was staffed on a trial that was going to occur out here in California, even though I'm in Maryland. And they said, you know, keep your wits about you, be ready for this to go to trial. This guy tries cases. And I didn't know who the hell you were. I looked you up, and I think that initial Google.
I was the plaintiff's lawyer?
Yes, you were.
Oh.
Yeah, whistleblower retaliation.
Come on.
Yeah, so I find the YouTube page. I'm like scrolling through some of the videos, listening to some of the advice that you're giving out. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And before I knew it, I had already had an inkling in the back of my mind that I was going to switch at some point, but that was, you know, I guess part of the impetus to make the jump. And then when I had decided I was going to do it, I reached out to you on Instagram because I'd already followed you. And, you know, I was like shot in the dark. If I reach out to this guy, see if he's got any advice for me. Didn't expect a response. And sure enough, you responded so quickly. We got on a FaceTime call together.
Remember that?
And you told me like a few key things. The biggest one was learn anatomy, because I was coming from the employment side to do personal injury, which was a whole new field for me, brave new world. And I took it to heart. So then I joined a small firm, and I've been grinding ever since.
Yeah, you know what? I remember that call, and I think you had made up your mind, but you were still trying to figure it out. And I was like, go for it. And the thing is, you don't understand. Let me just take what you said.
Sure.
And let me talk about stuff that I talk about on my social media, right? And I talk about with anybody. And it's great to hear that you said you were at a firm and they're like, check this guy out because he tries cases. Mm-hmm. Because first of all, as I'm going to talk about later today at TLU, it's one thing to talk the talk, but if you walk the walk, people notice. Yep. And carriers notice. And it's great that the first instinct of a defense firm in a case against me is like, pay attention because he'll try the case. That's dynamite.
Yep.
Right? That's dynamite. But secondly, it's easy for someone to type in my name as the opposing counsel and look at my video. But you took it to where you reached out. Then you took it to where we scheduled a Zoom or a FaceTime. Then you took my advice, and then you reached out. I don't remember if you wrote me a note. I think you did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Shot you a text.
Got my book.
Yep.
Said hello, came here, and then here you are here. And now we're friends and we have a relationship. I met the new lawyer that's in the firm.
Jesse, yeah.
All of that is just a function of you following up and stepping away from the inner talk that tells us all what, he's too busy, he'd never respond, I don't want,
Yep.
That tells me more about you than anything that you could put on a resume or whatever. And that tells me instantly, I know that you're going to be an uber success. I'm not even going to use the word uber success. A big success. Just because leopards don't change their spots. You are so rare. What a gift that you can stand out just by actually showing up consistently. What a gift.
It is.
Right? And so I tell that to I don't know, there's 800 people here, right? And we're all looking at each other. Who's doing what? I got to compete with all these 800 people. I'm like, right. Probably not. You got to compete with maybe, in this group, maybe 20%, because 20% will be the people that step up consistently.
Sure.
Most people will start, and a month from now, they'll be like, life is taking right?
Yeah.
So bravo, man.
Appreciate it.
Bravo.
But that's to your point. I know you talk about on your social media often about discipline is going to trump motivation.
Yep.
And I've really taken that message to heart because it's so easy to show up when you're feeling motivated. But it's the times that you're in a downward spiral or you're in a lull that the discipline needs to take over in order to stay on the right track and achieve what you want to achieve. So, it's nice not only for the legal advice that you give on your page, but also just the professional or the personal advice because it's easy to take to heart and it's easy to capitalize on.
Discipline, and we've talked about this, is momentum. It has momentum. It has momentum, positive and negative. And let me give you some examples. And I was thinking about that this morning. So I go and I get up and I take my cold shower like I do every day. I get dressed and I go to the gym, which there's an Equinox right here. So I went to the gym and I worked out. I come back and I was like thinking about something, this trial I'm starting, whatever. And I brought vitamins because I'm going to be gone for 2.5 weeks. It's part of my routine, right? I make my bed every day, part of my routine. And so I don't do that. And I get dressed and I'm about to leave. And I go, I didn't make my bed. I didn't take my vitamins. And I had everything in my body telling me, just go down to the conference and do it tomorrow. And I stopped. And I went back and I made my bed and I took, and there's a lot of vitamins. It's not as easy as you might think. It's not just eating a gummy. And it was a pain in the ass. And I caught myself. I'm like, here's all the self-talk of tomorrow, no big deal, fuck it. I'm just going to go through it, whatever. Sure. But I realized that stopping the chatter and going to do those things, even when I just didn't really want to do it, is going to make me more likely to be disciplined later today. And if I didn't do it, it would make me more likely to be less disciplined today and tomorrow. And and people are like, God, that's such a pain in the ass. I'm like, it is. What a gift.
Yep.
It's such a pain in the ass that most people won't do it. Right? And that's such a big deal that I think when people are like, how do you be a success? It's mostly ordinary shit, but you just got to do it consistently and not give yourself an out and do it. So as you are starting your career, let me ask you, I mean, I know that you subscribe to that, you understand it. How do you put routines and discipline in your life right now?
The biggest, I think discipline and routine are very closely related in that if I maintain a routine, it's much easier to do the hard things day in and day out. So it means getting up early, taking a cold shower, which, by the way, do you think the water's cold enough here at the hotel?
No.
I don't think it is.
But I just turn it on cold until it turns hot.
Fair enough.
So that's like, here it's like 20 seconds. At my house, it takes a minute.
There you go.
So, but you're doing it.
I do it, and get your workout in, get a breakfast in if you're not fasting, and then, go about your day. But the biggest thing that I've found is, if you work all day, we still I'm taking client calls, we're doing intakes. So there are things that come up during the day that kind of distract you from your, answering discovery or doing trial prep. And that temptation when you either leave the office for the day or, just the day is coming to a close to be like, well, I'll do it tomorrow because I had all these client calls today. It's like canceling out that voice in the back of your mind to say, no, I have to do it now because something else is going to come up tomorrow and something else is going to come up the next day. And if you aren't getting it done consistently in a routine, that it just, you'll fall behind. So, and that's not so like, I'm not some perfect person. I struggle with that just like anybody else would, but the more I'm willing and able to stay on that path, the more the more effective of an attorney I am. So I'm trying to follow your advice.
Well, you are following my advice, right? Try is the way you talk. You are doing it, man. I know that everybody you always are, we're all working to improve, but bravo to you, you're doing it.
I appreciate it.
And, it's interesting, right before I left, my wife Gina and I were working out and I was tired, I was whatever, and I made a comment, I said, man, I don't feel like doing this. and she's like, she made some comment, and she goes, you know, you're not motivated right now. You don't feel like doing this, but why are you doing this? I'm like, well, my motivation and what I feel and whether I'm hurting or not is not relevant.
Right.
I'm going to feel whatever way I feel. What's relevant is whether I pull the trigger or not.
Yep.
And sometimes you like can't wait to get to the gym and pick up as much weight as you can. Other times you're like, man, I feel like shit.
Yep.
You do it both times. Do it both times. Do it both times. But anyway, so that's good. Congrats. Now I am asking everybody that I've talked to about AI, and are you using it in any way, including chat or Claude or whatever? What are you using AI to do in your life and in your practice?
I am not super keen on AI in my personal life just because I haven't had a ton of need for it. In legal practice, we have Eve at the firm, which has been a godsend actually. It really allows you to streamline your demand review process. It'll point out key information that you need to know, especially if you want to create notes for when an adjuster calls and wants to make a settlement offer. But I've also found that Eve and other AI tools can also be useful in the litigation process when you're trying to come up with questions that you think the defense is going to ask your client, point out discrepancies in medical records, differences between what they say, what the medical records say, things like that. So absolutely, and I think that any attorney who is not on the AI train is probably going to get left behind. So you got to be conscious about what's coming, and talking to different vendors out there and figure out what's going on.
Yeah. And I was telling Christina, who was here earlier, she was talking about a couple of different products and how if it's not a closed system, you do have to be aware that you have client information, and if it's something, but there's a lot of great closed systems, and I'm a part of one called Clip, KLIP, and it's great because it's one of a bunch of competing products that you can kind of download your entire case, and it has built-in databases. Clip is a closed system that you can download your discovery, your depos, whatever, and it has learned and continues to learn, but it has learned based on my Trial Lawyer's Bible, all my work product, all my depots. That was part of the reason they asked me to get involved, was to get my brain and work product and whatever. And so now when I ask Clip, or people who use Clip, to take this case information and put it into a litigation strategy, depot questions, whatever, it pulls on stuff that I've done myself, stuff that I've done, whatever. And I love it. It's great. It is not the end all and be all, but what a wonderful foundational tool that I use in chat. I use all the time, and it's great. It's I agree with you. I mean, if you're not using it, at least now in a rudimentary form, you're really losing out on a great benefit.
Completely.
Yeah.
It makes your life easier.
All right, so let me switch gears.
Sure.
How old are you?
I am 28, about to turn 29.
Great. So, as a person not yet in their 30s, which means you graduated from law school, what, about 6 years ago?
21, so...
Oh, how old were you?
I was
class
2021. 2021,
Oh,
yes.
you were
Yeah.
21.
Oh, no. God. I was a Doogie Howser. Yeah.
So 4 years ago. Okay. So I want to ask you about two things.
Sure.
Your vision, your goals, whatever, in law right now, and then outside of law. So let's talk about your legal vision for the future, goals for the future.
Biggest goal, I think, in terms of my legal career is just getting more jury trials under my belt and becoming that go-to guy in the region, if not the state, where if a really difficult case comes up, somebody else says, you know what, I'm willing to call Andrew Will to try this case because I think he's going to be, the best person to try this in front of a jury.
And your region is Maryland?
Right now it's just Maryland. hoping to expand the practice. I know that some people do like the whole DMV. They'll do DC, Virginia, Pennsylvania. That might be coming. But for now, just sticking to Maryland, which is a lot of accidents. There's a lot of business there. So in and of itself, it's still a pretty competitive market.
They're raving about it there in Baltimore. Get it? Come on now.
Cut that.
No, don't cut that. That's my only. Okay. So I think I've given some advice to people on this issue. You said, my vision, my goal is to become the go-to guy for trials. Without a timeline, it's less likely it's less expeditious. So let's change that or add to, I'm going to become the go-to guy for trials by
2 years.
Okay. So your vision really is by the end of 2027, when they're looking for a go-to trial person in Maryland, they go to you.
Yes.
Okay. So now you've got a little less than 2 year timeline. So now back it up.
Yep.
That means how many trials per quarter? How many trials per year? How many? Then you say, okay, if I do 6 trials a year, that's on average a trial every couple of months. I mean, that's 2 trials a quarter. Well, what am I doing in the next 3 months to get my ass in trial? What am I doing in the next 6 months to get myself into 4 trials? And now it changes
That's a good point.
the behavior, because you can have this generalized goal and just let time roll through.
Yeah.
So being specific is way more efficacious, way more efficient, productive than less.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to lose 10 pounds by September is a totally different thing.
Sure.
See what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
So now let me ask you about vision goals outside of law. And then we'll add a timeline to it.
Oh boy.
And you don't have to have like a life plan, but just first thing that comes to mind. Tell me something.
I would like to be somebody recognized in my community as somebody who helps other people.
Okay.
And I realize it's quite vague. And I think that the practice of law obviously is one way to accomplish that. I'm also involved in certain charitable organizations that kind of scratch that itch. But it really does impress me, and I find it very fulfilling when there are people, just like if you said, this is the go-to person for a legal case, a legal matter, that are, renowned for their philanthropy, their giving back, their involvement in the community, either representing the interests of their, community members or providing for them something that they didn't have before.
So will you do this exercise with me?
Sure.
Okay. I know we haven't talked about this before. I'm just putting you on the spot. My vision and goal is to be recognized in the community for helping people. By when? There's no right answer.
Well, I'd say, look, if we're going to put a 2-year timeline on the legal goal, I don't see why I can't put a 2-year goal on the personal.
So my vision and goal is to be recognized in the community as someone who helps people, and that goal I'm going to accomplish by the end of 2026.
Okay.
Help people how?
I guess it could be through.
Like, what do you want to do? I want to help people by making sure they have more money, they have legal rights, they have food, they have shelter, they have sporting events. What?
The issue is, I think it just
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, but it's a completely fair question.
But if you don't get there,
yeah,
it's less likely that you'll ever get there.
Absolutely. I think helping people financially is one.
Okay.
I think being involved in community politics and helping, whether it's like housing developments or just local hot button issues, offering not your legal input, but your personal input and attending meetings or,
You sound like community activism.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So now let's take that first vision and I want to add to it. So you told me that you have a goal and a vision that by the end of 2026, you're going to be recognized as a community leader in giving by helping people with community things of interest in the community, to be an advocate for that.
Sure.
And to help people financially who are in need in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's now that's a lot more specific. So now you have a lot more focused, okay, how do I get in the community? Who do I talk to? And I can't be in the community unless I'm connected with people who can connect. So now there's your first step.
There it is.
There it is. Okay, who in my community should I reach out to with a written note, a request? I'd like to get more involved in local community issues. Can you help me? And if not, can you connect me with someone who can help me? That just started the process.
There it is.
See?
All right.
And I think that is a very, very, you just did an exercise that most people don't have someone help them get through that initial. And we're always like, my goal is to lose weight. And their goal to lose weight has been there for their entire life. And if they just said more specificity that would require them to own the timeline, they either do it or they don't. And same thing for you. You know, you're doing it or you don't. And the other thing I've learned with goals is that people are afraid to do them, especially to write them down. Even though it's 80% more likely you accomplish them if you write them down, because they have the misperception that they have to be in a place that correctly predicts their future for the rest of their life and that can never vary. And that's a scary proposition. Instead, if you say, I'm going to put down my visions and my goals with an understanding that it's just what I'm thinking right now, and 3 months from now I could change it, I could delete it, I could add to it. It's a lot easier to put yourself out there and make this commitment, knowing that some stuff just doesn't work out. Some stuff you're going to go and you're like, I don't really like this, right?
But you don't know until you try.
But you don't know.
Yep.
And you're not trying as much because you feel this obligation to pick the right pony.
Right, right.
When, you know, you get on that pony and you're like, this sucks. I have a lot of goals that I had a goal, and this is kind of a, you know, it is what it is, to own my own plane, right?
You don't already?
I did.
Oh.
And I had it. It was great. And it was expensive. And at some point I said, this isn't as good as I thought it would be.
I hear you.
It's not worth the money for the thing. And when I really want to use a private plane, I'll just charter one. And it was, but I pulled the trigger, did what I needed to do to pull the trigger. And I've now crossed that off my list and realized that that's not on my nagging list anymore. And it probably would have been on my list that bothered me as I've not accomplished my goal
right.
for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, it ain't all that in a bag of chips, right? And that's an extreme example, but we do that all the time with, I want to make $10 million. And that's like this bothering thing. But if you own the specifics, you realize to make $10 million, you have to do this, this, and this, and maybe it's not worth it.
Sure.
And instead of just feeling like a loser because you didn't make $10 million, whatever, owning it, maybe cross that off the list. Hey, 9.9 million is not terrible, right? Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Completely. I mean, to that point, I don't have any lawyers in my family. So I went into law school and post-grad, not really understanding the legal field. And I had this vision in my head that I wanted to go work for a big firm and that it was going to be everything in a bag of chips. And it wasn't until I got there. I mean, I had a great time working there and the people were wonderful, but it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So, and that ultimately, you know, directed me towards this path, and now I just feel a lot better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sometimes you just got to...
You look at change in a positive way, which is great, right? like COVID happened and everybody's like, oh, this changes everything. And then you have a choice. This changes everything. How terrible. This changes everything. What an opportunity.
Absolutely.
And it happens literally every day to us, right? Look at you. You went to this firm. It was what you thought was going to be your life goal. And then you're like, no. And then the change, and isn't it better?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for being here. Great.
Thank you for having me.
I think you are a wonderful example of kind of the end result of all of the things that I have been talking about that makes people excel. So bravo. Keep going.
Thank you.
Keep going. And I think I may have mentioned, I heard at 3:15 today, one of the best speeches is going to happen. So
Okay.
you should make sure you get there.
I'll probably be there. If I can, let me check my calendar.
You know what? Nobody's going to be watching this by 3:15 today, so it don't matter.
right.
What the hell am I talking about? Anyway, all right. Thank you, man.
Thank you very much for having me on, Mike. Appreciate it.